Anybody that knows me, listen, there's probably a lot of people out there like, man, Guy's a fucking asshole. It's probably kind of true. Always putting the task at hand as the #1 goal. I think that really played a role into who I became as a bodybuilder, as an athlete, as a person.
It reminds me a lot about a lot of big stories from big athletes like Michael Jordan, and you know, many of these guys say like, you know, we just tried more than anybody else.
Get it, come on, drop, 3, come on. There you go, my father. He always fucking used to tell me, man, like, don't tell me you can't do something because you can't find that word in the dictionary. Just because it didn't happen today doesn't mean it's not going to happen tomorrow. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, doesn't mean it's not going to happen at the end of the week. The only thing to guarantee is it won't happen if you don't try. You guys bust my ball. I like to joke. You can make fun of me all day. I'll laugh at it and I'll poke fun back. Like, I'm all about smiling and laughing and having a good time. And if I'm doing that, I'm good. The only people that could have felt disrespected to that are anti-hunters and vegans. But like I said, like, I posted something about how much deer meat feeds homeless people and people that are in need. And I posted a video, I go, how many vegans are out there fucking scavenging onions and fucking delivering onion rings to bums? Like, I don't see that. So don't come on my fucking page, tell me what I'm doing wrong, because you eating grass doesn't fucking do anything for society.
You should smoke it.
What's true is true. The only reason why I got to where I got to was because of hard fucking work. So I have zero regrets with anything I've done, because the fact that I've won 7 shows, been to the Olympia going on 8 times, from the friends that I made, to the sponsors that I've had, to the life that I live, I have nothing.
Remind me.
The last time I was here, I just won the Niagara Falls show, qualified for the O. And then COVID, that was in November, and then March, COVID happened.
Yeah. So we're, you know, planning to have you over here, and we couldn't make it happen until now.
Yeah, with the open house, got canceled.
Yeah.
Then in May, I was supposed to come, and you guys were like a hot spot, right?
Yeah.
That got canceled.
And you were never a hot spot.
I was a hot fucking mess.
Yeah. But now you're finally here. So what do you think?
It's awesome. I love it. This just not being here for so long is not something that I'm used to. Because I'm used to being here at least every 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
You know, and it feels like I've been away from like my extended family for a long time. And it's good to be back. You know, I'll see Hunter. I'm sure I'll see Branch this weekend.
Yeah.
He'll
be here tomorrow.
Yeah, have some time with you guys. It's just good, man. You know, like I was talking to Nick before I came here. If there was one place I'd move besides Jersey, it would be Texas. Yeah. You know, without a doubt. So I always look forward to my Texas trips. It's probably one of the very few trips that I look forward to every single year. Is coming here to train. That and going out to Vegas a week early, I always look forward to. You know, because I got, you know, everybody goes out. You know, Charles, Chris. And it's just kind of, it's like the things that I look forward to in bodybuilding. It's like that week before the show, the biggest show of the year, coming to train at certain gyms where I have very good, you know, friends and family and, you know, just people that I build rapport with over the years. So when I come to places like Texas, it's very relaxing for me because I have a lot of fun. We get a lot of stuff done. It's a lot of seriousness, but, you know, we fuck around and joke and we have a good time. And I think that's what it's all about. I think that's what 2020 is missing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we're trying to fill the year with as much as possible. If you were in and around here, you know, during our shutdown, we were doing content like crazy.
Yeah.
And you know, trying to create the journey, regardless if it was a little bit not the usual circumstances. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I got lucky that I'm not going to throw the name or the gym out because I haven't done it, but I was lucky that one of the gym owners back home knew, you know, that I had double shoulder surgery, not, you know, a couple years ago, and then qualified for the Olympia. And he was like, listen, you can come, you know, pretty much here's the fucking key. Come as you want, just make sure nobody sees you. And, you know, I kept the lights off and brought in like this little Bluetooth wireless speaker, and we played music on that, never turned the lights on.
Yeah.
And we trained every single. I even trained when I had COVID for 7 weeks. Every single day I trained. I didn't miss a fucking beat. The only time I missed a beat was when I threw my back out. But other than that, I was full bore, going 100 miles an hour even when I was sick.
Yeah.
So I was blessed that I had somebody that had the same dream that I did, and that was getting ready and preparing to win the Mr. Olympia contest. And that this gym owner is so passionate about bodybuilding that he knew what I went through, and he was like, I'm not going to take that away from you. So that meant a lot to me. So you know who you are, gym owner. I can't say your name, so I don't want to get you in trouble, but got my back.
I mean, that's what friends are for, and and helping each other to be on a journey like this.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit how did your journey start? From the very get-go.
Of the quarantine?
No, like way back. How did you get involved in
bodybuilding?
Yeah.
COVID. But he's grinding them out. So I started playing football at a very young age, in 3rd grade, and I was very, very, very small. I'm still very short. I'm like not even, I'm about 5'5.5". But growing up, right around 3rd grade till about 6th grade, I would probably 3rd grade through right around freshman year in high school, I got pretty heavily picked on. I was short, stocky, and I kind of looked chunkier than the other kids because I was short, but I was just thick and bulky. And played football all through all through grade school, into middle school, and then freshman year of high school, I went to a school called Pope John, which was a Catholic high school, because I wanted to play football there. It was a recruiting high school. So I went there for a year. They put me at backup quarterback, hated it, and went back to my public school, which was West Milford, to play ball there. As football in high school started to progress, one of the things that we had to do was be active in the weight room. And as time went on, as much as I love football, my passion started becoming being in the weight room. Because when I started high school ball, it was, okay, I can't change how tall I am, but I can change how strong I am. So if I'm going to be the smallest guy on the field, I'm going to be the strongest, smallest guy anybody's ever fucking hit. So my goal was then to be the strongest guy on the team. And then when the strength started to come, my body started to change. And then my want went from wanting to be a great football player to I wanted to have a great body. And there was a website called teambodybuilding.com. You had to submit your pictures to it, and they approved you for an athlete, or as we would call it now, ambassadorship. This is literally going back to 2000 and maybe 2001. No, it was in high school, so it had to be in the 90s. So the internet was just starting to break out.
Was it something like it's kind of also changing a little bit? If you did it to look good, because you did it to be strong.
Yep.
And kind of be a to stand up
to be an elite athlete.
Yeah.
And then.
But how could it change? Did you see something that made you want to?
Yeah, the things I saw in the mirror that I'd never seen before. Growing up, I got picked on for being chunky and had I was short and I had big calves. I probably had the same size calves I do now in 3rd grade. They would call me cankles and midget, and I had big ears. The same fucking shit I pretty much get now. But when you're younger, it's a little different, because when you're successful and people want to poke, fun at you, that's fine.
Yeah.
But when you're a kid and people want to poke fun at you, it's different, because you really don't have anything to back yourself up with besides your mouth.
You haven't established your identity yet.
Exactly. And this website ended up accepting me as an athlete, and they put my pictures up on the website. And I thought that was the fucking coolest thing in the world, that this website thought I was good enough to be in posing trunks on their website. Now, granted, I've never done a bodybuilding show. As football went on and high school came and went, and I graduated and I went on to play ball in college, I was a maniac when it came to consistency. I would go to practice. I would go to a class. My first class was at 8 a.m. and then I would finish class around 2, 3 o'clock. Football would start. Football would be over around 5:30, and at 5:30 the football practice would get over. I would go into the locker room, eat like one of those Metrex or Myoplex bars from GNC, and I would sit in the locker room. I would put on shorts and a t-shirt from the team uniform. I'd go up in the weight room, and guys that I still talk to from football, we still talk about this to this day, and they say, I remember you still being the only one in the weight room after practice. So I would go to practice, and that practice was for football and for the team. But then after football got done, now it was time for me to practice what I loved, and that was working out in the fucking gym. And I followed a very stringent bodybuilding routine, and my senior year, I was the strongest kid on the team. You know, and the coaches were pushing their program on me. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. And I did my own thing, and I ended up having the biggest lift total of the team my senior year. But junior year, when I was getting ready for my junior year of football camp, was when I did my first show. And I'll never forget because I was prepping for it.
But did this all your relentless grind in the gym and on the foot, did that result in any success in the football, or?
Yeah, I was a very good football player. I played for 15 years, and the reason why I'm successful that I was at football, that I am at bodybuilding, is because of the relentlessness and the no compromise attitude of not taking anything but accomplishing the goal, even if it means failing 10 times. You have to consistently keep doing it in order to achieve something. So I think all that stuff and that driven desire and that attitude of, you know, never compromising on anything and always putting the task at hand as the number one goal, I think that really played a role into who I became as a bodybuilder, as an athlete, as a person.
It reminds me a lot about a lot of big stories from big athletes like Michael Jordan, and you know, many of these guys say, like, you know, we just tried more than anybody else, and you know, success is not like they were not succeeding every time with what they were doing. They were just trying more than others, and with that came success.
Like Babe Ruth. I think Babe Ruth struck out more times than he hit home runs.
Yeah.
But you got to swing the bat to hit the ball, right? Mm-hmm. But you're not always going to hit the ball every time you swing the bat. So, you know, I was in a position in my life where I think a lot of people in this industry, I always preface with this industry, and I don't want to, because this industry is what I know.
Where do you think you got that relentless, no compromise, no matter what you're going to do the workout, you're going to follow your protocol?
My father.
Was that from
my father? Yeah.
And how come?
Because my father, there was my dad. My dad was my football coach from 3rd grade till about 7th to 8th grade, and he would always push this. My dad's very repetitive. Like, I guess people say they hear the same shit out of me all the time, which is fine. But my dad's very repetitive. Same one-liners out of his mouth constantly. Even to this day, he's 6 years old. Same shit. I could pretty much tell you what he's going to say before he says it, but. He always fucking used to tell me, man, like, don't tell me you can't do something because you can't find that word in the dictionary. So don't fucking ever use that with me. So every time I got down or whatever, he'd be like, listen, just because it didn't happen today doesn't mean it's not going to happen tomorrow. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, doesn't mean it's not going to happen at the end of the week. But the only thing to guarantee is it won't happen if you don't try. So where your life is currently, anybody that's watching this, if you think about where your life is and you try to go after a goal, if you fail, where is it different than you are right now? If you go after something and you fail, you're still in the same fucking spot, but at least you tried. You know, but a lot of people stay in the same spot and never fucking try. I just always consistently tried over and over again because I was like, you know what? At some point, it's got to fucking work. You know, and at some point I'll figure it out. And so far, you know, at 38 years old, I don't want to say I'm, you know, a huge success, but I think for, you know, the cards that God gave me and, you know, what I was able to accomplish with my genetics and my work ethic, you know, I'm very proud of myself, and I don't really say that a lot, but I look at my genetics and where I came from, what I've accomplished, and what people thought I was going to bring to the table, and what I was going to do as a bodybuilder. And I'm one of the most elite 212 bodybuilders the industry's ever seen so far, because the division hasn't been around.
Yeah, but I think it's so much more to it also than other than like winning in shows and stuff. But I mean, like you have a nice house, you live beautiful on the countryside.
Yeah.
You have an organized life, and you're living of your sport. And there is very few people who can say that. There is a lot of pros out there, but there's not. To actually be living of your sport in a good way, it's not that easy. That's like another level of difficultness.
Yeah, like you mean there's like so many IFBB Pro competitors, but so little IFBB Pro competitors living off of just being a bodybuilder.
Not only in bodybuilding, but in general, like in any sport. I'm into motocross, and I see like it's only the top tier guys that is actually making any money to be living on it, and the rest they are trying their best.
Well, you and Helena have been to my house, so you've been to where I live, and you've seen it. You've been there with the dogs, and probably one of the coolest moments of my life in bodybuilding had nothing to do with bodybuilding. Last year at the Arnold, actually no, I'm sorry, it was this past year at the Arnold when it. Nobody was allowed there. Matt Jensen and Sean Clarita, and there was a Kyle Wilkes, I think Nick Walker, a bunch of other guys came to my house because they were in town because they didn't go to the Arnold. And I said, well, listen, you guys want to come over and watch the Arnold? We'll watch it on my TV. We could all hang out, And they came over, and Matt was like, oh, let me show them around the house. So we're just showing Matt around. Everybody's downstairs watching TV, and we're walking out of one of the rooms, and Matt goes, man, I got to tell you, man. He goes, you fucking made it. And I looked at him, I'm like, what? He's like, you made it. I was like, I made it. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, you wouldn't believe the amount of pro bodybuilders, he goes, that don't have anything close to what you have. And I don't live in a fucking mansion. I live on 2.5 acres. I take care of my house. I've done a lot to it. But I'm not somebody that posts about what I have and what I do on social media. I keep it real. But, I'm very fortunate to be where I'm at in my life. And when Matt said that to me, I'm like, man, that's probably one of the coolest compliments I've ever got. Yeah. Because he wasn't basing my success off of followers. Mm-hmm. He didn't base my success off of a trophy, a placing, a check. Mm-hmm. He looked at my life and said, you made it. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And that was really cool for me. That was, and I've said that in a couple of interviews because that's something that really stands out to me, because coming from somebody who's your age, coming from an adult or my father, my parents, or somebody that's older, I would expect that from, but not somebody who's your age, So that took me back and humbled me a lot, because I'm not.
But then I think it's on top of that, doing it in kind of like in a type of outsider sport, so I think that's tells the story to the relentless pursuit and no compromise, and what your father told you. So you can make it that far in this sport. And
and I don't make it easy on myself. Everybody busts my balls about the gardening and the yard work, and they're like, can't you just pay for somebody to do it? And I could spend the money and pay somebody to do it, but God gave me the ability to be able to do a lot of things myself. So if I'm able to listen. Do I make some preps harder by, listen, this year is different because it's fucking, the Olympia got moved and it's in December. So the only thing I got to be doing is blowing snow in fucking December. I got to worry about cutting grass, weeding, doing mulch, gardening. But normally during...
You can move some snow from that place to that place.
Yeah, or I can just take my leaf blower and just blow it off my driveway. But during preps, people are like, don't you get tired? I said, tired of what? Living my life? No, I enjoy being on my tractor and cutting the grass. I enjoy gardening and making sauce and pickles and playing with my dogs outside and doing yard work and cutting down. It's part of being a regular fucking person. A small percentage of my life is in the gym and bodybuilding. There's so much more to bodybuilding. I think that is one of the things that I want to say people like more about me is that I'm real and I'm not just all fucking bodybuilding. Like, you can see a guy doing leg press so many times. You can see a guy eating chicken and rice so many times. You can see a guy getting tan so many times, doing a pose routine. But, like, that doesn't say shit about who that fucking person is.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much more than just training, eating, tanning, posing. You know, that person does a lot more than just what we...
But isn't that forming the foundation
Yes.
for for a successful life?
Absolutely.
And it also helps to pursue the the sport at hand.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. Yep. You just have to be. I tell people you have to find your lane and stay in it and be true to who you are and don't. One thing that will end people's career is not being true to who they are and being fake, because in this day and age, the fake people and the corruption shit, people always tend to sniff that stuff out, you know?
Yeah, when it's not real, they don't want to be on board.
No. So I tell everybody, just, you want to, what social media is social media, I'd say, be fucking real. Yeah. Whoever you are, be that person. Don't be somebody else. Don't try to imitate somebody else. Don't try to...
But I think, like, a lot of people, they can have a really good message, when they start out.
Yeah.
And then they get followers. And then they get sidetracked because they get more followers. And suddenly it's more important to create followers than actually the message.
Yeah.
To...
They start to change their perception of what they say based on the followers that they receive.
Yeah.
Instead of just speaking how they would normally speak with 0 followers, they see that they have all these followers and they're like, okay, now these people are watching. Now I have to make sure I say it like this or like that, or post it. No, just post what you want to post.
Yeah.
Be respectful, and people are you're never gonna please everybody.
But isn't that also something that some old grandpa could have told us also?
Yeah.
To always be real.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that philosophy is especially true today.
We were just talking about 2020, about like all the... One thing I learned from 2020 is that everybody can lie.
Yeah.
You know? And one thing I took out of 2020 is that I think we need a little bit more real and honesty in this world rather than fake. We got a lot of fake. You know, social media and the internet create a lot of fake shit. And I think being real and true to who you are as a person is one of the most important things now, if not ever.
But I think the whole situation with the virus has also, done that in some aspect.
Absolutely.
Because it's kind of like it's cleaning out and weeding out what is really important.
Yeah.
And make people to question certain direction in their life and realize that back to the roots and back to the basic.
Some people didn't even have a choice.
Yeah.
People that lost their jobs or businesses, or they had to start over. No matter what.
Yeah. Because I think it's kind of like a cycle anyway, and I think it's also we talk about social media, how easy it is that you start doing it for the gram. But I think that's also something that's always been around, that you kind of like you kind of have a period where you're trying to please your surrounding, even if it's social media or not. But you and then you realize that that's not the purpose.
Yeah.
You have to feel good yourself in order to be good to others and help others.
Absolutely.
And I think if people lose themselves in that.
Yeah, they lose themselves in a false sense of reality of what social media is not. Because there's so many people that, like the explanation I use, like how many people I can name that every day talk about how great their fucking relationships are. And I'm like, that's funny. I know the relationship's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
It's like there's no need to post about stuff if it's not true.
Yeah.
So my main thing that I try to tell people when I give a message off is just be who you are and be real to that person, and that's it. Don't be somebody else, because if you try to be somebody else, it's going to go fucking down. It's going to go down fast.
Yeah.
Like.
Have you done these mistakes yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I've learned it. Yeah, early on with social media, because when you're, I'm 38 now. Back when I turned pro, I was 26 years old. Social media came around. I turned pro in 08. Social media came around probably like 2012 for me is when I got on everything. And back when I first started bodybuilding, I turned pro. the quote unquote celebrity that people think or call us, which I think is ridiculous. I don't think celebrities is really a real fucking word, but the only thing people had to go off of was the magazines, and the magazines were so far behind, and you didn't see your day to day, and not. So the only people that knew you were people that bought the magazines because the internet wasn't theirs. But now you're in the public eye a lot more, so I think that plays a fucking very important role. But I think it also takes away from a lot of the end result things. You know, like bodybuilding used to be bodybuilding, and now as time went on, it's like bodybuilding, and then the magazines fell off, and then this fell off, and then that fell off, and now you could be a bodybuilder without even being a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I know, and I talked to Branch about the same topic, but I think it's the same in many sports. You know, is social media starts rewarding the personality over the competing results, as an example. You know.
Yeah, I say all the time, bodybuilding itself didn't make me a lot of money. Me being who I am and what I say and how I say it and my delivery and my words and
did your father teach you that?
To be real?
The message delivery.
No, it was probably my mother. My mother's the one with the bad mouth, not my dad.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's complete opposite in my house.
Yeah, I've been in your...
You've seen at the dinner table, yeah.
Yeah. I love it. It's like Italian crazy family.
Just screaming, but we're just talking.
Yeah.
But
are you fighting?
Oh God, we all the time. If like new people come over, like, is everything all right?
Yeah.
Why? You guys are just yelling at each other. That was just a conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but yeah, the only thing my dad really pushed on me was like, even when I was growing up, like you know, as a kid, you do something like, fuck, I don't want to tell my dad and my mom I'm going to get my ass beat. My dad was always like, I don't care what you did. If you tell me the fucking truth, you will avoid getting at least your ass beat. You might get grounded. Yeah. You might get in trouble, but I will guarantee to not beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Or beat, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Back then we got the belt. Like, you know, my dad whooped us up, but every time we deserved it. But he always drilled into us is if you tell me the truth, I'll be mad, but I won't be nearly as mad as I will be if you fucking lie to me. Yeah. So I kind of hold that very heavy with things that I say and I do, because I don't ever want to be somebody who says, "Oh, wait a second," like the fucking presidential debate. You're saying this now, but 3 months ago you said the polar opposite. You know, I don't want to be that guy. So I like to be very consistent across all platforms. Yeah. So,
that's good.
Yeah, but I enjoy it. To say I don't enjoy it to some extent would be a lie, but there's a big part that sometimes I'm like, I want a little fucking privacy. Yeah. You know, I think privacy is becoming a luxury these days. Yeah. You know, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's you know, isn't that our own ability to kind of like shut off and focus on ourselves a little bit? Yep.
And the minute you start doing that, people go, you know, if I fall off social media for a day, is everything all right? You didn't post anything today. Are you sick? Like, no, leave me the fuck alone. I just want to be left alone for 24 hours. It's like, can I breathe? You know, but it's like people base their relationships off of, it's crazy, off of social media. Yeah. You know? Oh, you didn't post about me today. You mad? Yeah. You didn't tag me.
Yeah, there is zero difference between, you know, a friend in, you know, in real life and a digital friend. Or, you know, you see relationships like everything. Yeah. It's kind of like it's going 100% in the virtual world as much as it used to do only in the real world.
It's crazy. I have people that I'm friends with that I don't even follow on social media because I don't even know if they have it. But then I have friends that will literally make sure they let me know, this is my social media handle, follow me. I'm like, does it fucking matter? Like, maybe I like you in person, but think you're a complete asshole on social media. I don't want to follow you. But now I feel like I'm obligated to, because you had to fucking awkwardly tell me to follow you on social media.
Yeah. But do you got good principles there? Or do you compromise with it?
On Instagram?
I mean, like, do you unfollow and, you know, making sure that...
I unfollow people.
I mean, like, do you do the real talk, but also in social media?
I unfollow people if they I don't like people that push their views on other people. Like I did a rant the other day because my fucking Instagram got blocked and banned, shadowed because I posted a butchering video. So I posted on my story, but listen, I don't go to vegans pages and tell them you motherfuckers should be out hunting and eating meat. So just don't come on my page telling me I'm an asshole for fucking eating meat. Like, that's ridiculous. So yeah, I'll unfollow anybody. If people start pushing political views, religious views, like the social media isn't made to push your fucking agendas on people. You know, and once you start doing that, I don't want to see what you have to say. That doesn't mean I don't like you as a person. It just means I think you as a person on the internet, you're a fucking moron. I don't want to bother with your ridiculous shit. You know, your propaganda about why the world's bad or great or why your views are going to change the world. Like, I don't need to see that shit. You know, save it for Facebook.
I think I completely agree with you there.
You know, there's a time and a place for everything. Social media is not a time and a place to do shit like that. You know, it's supposed to be a place to interact. It's social media, not to, you know, turn it into a fucking holy war like we've seen in the past couple months. So
yeah. At the same time, you know, I don't care so much about it.
You're more motocross than anything. Motocross and family.
Yeah, but I mean, I also feel like, you know, if I get disturbed by it, like, then I'm getting drawn into it.
Yes.
So I'm just making a point of not letting it.
Like if you get emotional by what somebody says. Yeah. Like people, like sometimes I'll respond back to somebody who says something stupid, and it's normally just something funny or like a mom joke just to get them fired up.
Yeah.
And people will be like, "Guy, don't respond to him. Don't let him get under your skin." And I'm like, he's definitely not getting under my skin. Just trying to fucking have some fun.
Yeah.
You know, but people think like you. I'm like nothing anybody has ever said to me. I've had people message me I should kill myself. Literally, you should hang your. Nothing anybody says to me bothers me. Nothing. When they banned me for fucking being, I didn't post killing an animal because my argument's this: I didn't show the deer hanging there on Instagram on the video that I shot for Blackstone. I did, but I literally posted making chop meat, back straps, and deboning a shoulder and a hindquarter. What's the difference between cooking on the grill and cutting on my fucking kitchen counter?
People think their meat grows in packages.
Dude, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, people think their meat grows in packages.
It's fucking insane, bro. I'm like, where do you think the meat come from? Is in the fucking store or the meat that you order when you go out to a restaurant?
Ignorance is bliss.
Dude, it's crazy.
It must be fake news.
Dude, yeah, like the debates.
That got under your skin. You have to.
Yes.
You have
because
to.
Listen.
There was nothing bad about the video.
Freedom of speech, I believe in wholeheartedly. But I also believe in freedom of speech with some fucking common decency and respect. And nothing that I posted was disrespectful. Yeah. The only people that could have felt disrespected to that are anti-hunters and vegans. But like I said, like I posted something about how much deer meat feeds homeless people and people that are in need. And I posted a video. I go, how many vegans are out there fucking scavenging onions and fucking delivering onion rings to bums? Like I don't see that. So don't come on my fucking page tell me what I'm doing wrong because you eating grass doesn't fucking do anything for society.
You should smoke it.
You don't happen to see this fucking this little hippie head I have on here.
Yeah.
We smoke that grass.
Is that why you have that loop?
What?
The beard and everything?
Yeah, I keep the joints rolled up under here. Pull it out like my dreadlocks. No, but that upset. That shit like that upset me. Because then it's like you're banned for being real. You know, if I did something disrespectful, then I have no problem. But to ban me for being a real person, and I wasn't doing it like that. And it's not the first time it's happened. Every time I post something that has to do with butchering or hunting or even on the spectrum of being like a little bit right wing, it's like, goodbye.
So what's your plans for Olympia?
Win. Same plan as always. Be the best I can, and hopefully that, allows you to win. Now, I've had a lot of setbacks, as you've known. Me and Nick talked about today, but I usually get better as prep goes on. So, you
But
know,
it feels almost like you need setbacks, you need challenges. Whatever.
it's like if I don't have that, it's like not a normal fucking day for me.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of guys coming up. Never compete against Derek. Me and Sean have battled many times. Sean has gotten better, and I've gotten injured as the years went on. Kamal, I've competed against once and at the Arnold. And a lot of these other guys, I really haven't gone head to head with. So I'm excited being an older guy and seeing how I could stack up to the young blood. Because listen, at the end of the day, one thing you can't ever change or beat is father time. That's one thing that eventually takes everybody out of whatever fucking game they're in, you know? So me being 38, I know I'm fucking flirting a fine line between, you know, towards the end of my career and being done. So I'm trying to get the most out of it. So I'm hoping that I stack up well against these guys. But these guys are young, man. They got that fresh muscle. These guys are fucking big. Guys like Keon, guys like, what's his name? Nicholas Vlad, who's coming up. Who's the other guy? George Peterson, who just came up to. They're big motherfuckers, bro. You know, I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm damn near almost 40 years old. I've been doing this a long fucking time.
But I think like that makes it even more important to enjoy the journey. You know, like
yeah, it's so for me now, it's about enjoying the journey, and now it's a lot about being the best version of me, and now it's just about a matter of fucking respect. Because and listen, I don't care what anybody fucking says. There's a lot of young guys that are coming up in the sport that have not fucking earned their stripes and have no idea what it's like to be fucking like. I'm one of the original guys in the 212 with Flex, with Jose, with David Henry. And then you got a lot of these little young little turds that come up barking their fucking mouth thinking that like they're because they're 10 years older and they're doing good that they have like an in. And I'm like, you guys haven't earned, like you guys got to take a back seat. Like you might be good, you might even beat me, but you haven't earned the respect yet. So it's like there's a level of respect that has fallen off in bodybuilding. And a lot of that disrespect has fell in my lap because of things that I've gone through and, you know, placings at shows in the past couple of years because of shoulder surgeries or injuries or burns. Or so this year for me is a big year because I haven't been on the Olympia stage in 2017. You know, I was on the stage every year. I've been a pro up until that point.
Yeah, but you've been, like we talked about, you've been very successful during this time anyway.
Yeah.
You know, you have a successful pro career, not necessarily on the stage being injured and all that, but just reminding you about enjoying the journey because you have a really good journey. So
I enjoy the journey more than I do the final result. Meaning, I enjoy the process in the gym more than I do being on stage. And that's where it's different for me. That's why people always say, do you want to win? Fuck, I always want to win.
But isn't that like natural? Kind of, you have a huge personality. You know, you take up a lot of space in a room. You know, we all have to fight that. You know, we have you know, traveling with you for 2 weeks, and then it's like, okay, that was nice. Like, let's.
You missed me 24 hours later. Who the fuck you kidding?
You know what I mean, but I
Yeah.
mean, so you have a, you know, really good.
I enjoy. Yeah, I mean, I just like coming out to Texas and filming at like Destination or traveling the world and being able to train with Branch. Like to me, that's more rewarding than a trophy. You know, because anybody can get a trophy, anybody can win a show, and say that I won this show or I won that show. How many people can say that they traveled the fucking world and countries with Branch and trained, or who went to expos with, you know, me, you, Branch, and Johnny, or who went, like, that's the shit that not a lot of people can say they fucking done.
Yeah.
You can say you won shows all day or you're a pro.
And that's a little bit what I want to come to, that, you know, enjoying the journey, enjoying the whole life that this gives, and it's not only about the stage.
No. That's, and I think I said this in an interview we did last year, it's almost a year ago, for Christ's sakes, is for me, you can be there are bodybuilders, and then there are people that love training. And what I mean by that is I am a bodybuilder of a byproduct because I love to train. I don't work out to be a bodybuilder. And I think a lot of fucking guys do. A lot of guys just work out to be a bodybuilder. I work out, and because I work out, I bodybuild as something to do.
Yeah.
You know, but I would be in the gym doing the same shit whether I was in fucking posing trunks at the end of 16 weeks or not. Because this is what I love. This is, I think Branch is the same fucking way.
Yeah.
You know? And I think a lot of the successful bodybuilders have that mentality. And I also think a lot of guys are in it for the fame or the followers or the glory that they think it brings. But I'm in it to be somebody who says, when I'm done competing and people look back at Guy and say, you know, who's Guy Cisternino? They don't have to say he was the best bodybuilder. If people go, that was one of the hardest working motherfuckers I've ever seen, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
I'm good. Because if people can say that kid worked harder than anybody and gave his all and fucking left no stone unturned and he did fucking more than he could with his genetic potential, then what else do I got to fucking prove to anybody?
Yeah.
Nothing. I don't have anything to prove to anybody right now. But I have things that I still want to prove to myself. And that's why I'm still, you know.
That's good. It's a good message. I mean, like the what your father gave to you and what you know.
My father said something to me very recently because of something that happened. And he said you can't, and 38 years old, maybe it's different than hearing it when you're 28 or 25 or 20. But I was going through some shit, and my dad goes, you know what, Guy? He said, you can't, he said, you worry about making everybody happy and doing things for other people. He said, sometimes you got to do what's best for Guy, and whether that's hurting somebody's feelings or not, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you, and that might come with hurting some people's feelings. They'll get over it, you know, and you know, that's just.
But that's kind of like the whole story is to remind ourselves and others about the importance of you know, taking care of ourselves before we can take care of others.
Yeah.
And enjoying the journey.
Yeah. That's one thing I think I did well, was I really enjoyed the journey and all the things I was able to do and places I was able to go, because I think a lot of people, when they're in it, they're in it and they are like, oh, I'm so-and-so, I expect to be in it like this. Whereas me, every time we went to a different country or a fan came up to me or wanted a picture, to this day, I'm like, man, I can't believe people give a fuck who I am or want a picture or want an autograph. So maybe it's because I was brought up, maybe it's because I never thought I would be in the position that I was in, but I never let those moments, like even with the kid that drove however long he drove to come here today, just to see me. It's like, what? You can't drove to see me? You know, so that stuff for me never goes unseen or forgotten about. I don't forget any of that stuff. I'll never forget one moment that somebody drove out of the way or went out of their way or said something or asked me to sign something or got a tattoo of me. It's stuff that like is unfathomable sometimes that I don't think would ever happen, you know. So I think that
But at the same time, it's important that you don't let that consume you, because then you're going to lose yourself in that again, and then you have to remind yourself that Guy is first.
Yeah.
And other people are,
Yeah.
you know, have to come second to...
That's hard for me.
Yeah.
I put everybody first.
Yeah.
And I put me second all the time.
Yeah.
And that's
so you're
probably,
doing the lesson time after time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it gets tiring.
Yeah.
You know, and after I had a lot of stresses, especially since March with all the Corona shit. So, you know, when he said that to me, I was like, man, I gotta make some fucking changes.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes it feels like bodybuilding's all I have, and that gets.
But you're gonna do that lesson, you know, at 38 and
48, 58.
Yeah. And then you finally gonna nail it, and then you're gonna be very strong about repeating it for people that you have an impact on.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be a little bit like their father speaking.
Yeah.
Telling them that, you know, this is important.
I feel like that now with kids in the gym when I talk to them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm talking to them like I got one foot on a banana peel and one in the cassia. Like I'm about to go. Like I'm trying to give you guys all my knowledge before I kick the bucket. But I think it's important. I don't think enough people do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's enough bodybuilders that actually take their time and give back.
Yeah, and also like you know, a lot of bodybuilders are like selfish and self-centered in order to succeed in the sport. So you go from being a mentee to being a mentor over time.
Yeah.
And suddenly you find yourself in. But I think it's like important, you know, embracing the process. You know, when going into more of a mentor state.
Yes.
And be quick with it, because I think that's another career in
Oh,
the
yeah.
making.
Yeah.
You know, where actually this is fun. This is it's more rewarding to help others.
Oh yeah.
Than to.
You don't know. It's that is part of it, and that's one thing that I do not. You know, I train people, but I don't do it a ton. I don't push it that much. But that is one aspect that is a very good place that people can monetize in this industry. But I think a lot of people, when they're bodybuilding, they forget that bodybuilding is this big,
Mm-hmm.
and the business aspect is so big.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people don't know how to juggle
Yeah.
both at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think in order to be successful in this industry, you have to know how to be an athlete and a business person at the same time. Because without that, you're not going to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that plays an important. And for me, it's helped getting to know people like Scott James, who first owned BSN. It got beneficial for me to learn from you and Martin, the guys that started GASP and Better Bodies, because I see where you guys are and what you came from and how it started. And you know, like even some of like the old piece of clothing that Brian Moss brought at the last open house. It's just cool to see like where it started from where it is now.
Yeah.
And you know, hear things that you do for marketing and promotions. It's just being around like-minded people who are very successful that I consider close friends gives me a better understanding on what I want to do in my visions for the future.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that could be its whole segment in itself.
Absolutely.
Because I think you juggle that part very well. Because a lot of people think that you know, competing and all that selfishness, and they have a problem with business, because business is more about exactly. It's about relationships, and it's about you know.
rapport.
Yeah, really good relationships and building on those. And I think if you approach business in a selfish way, that's never gonna go good. And then and that's why I think there also is very few pros that can support themselves on their sport, because they don't understand that the concept really.
Business only works if you have end consumers, and you can't have an end consumer if you're an asshole and nobody wants whatever product is you're promoting or endorsing.
And I think also on a more philosophical level, even before that you know, business per definition is like something who's mutual beneficial.
Yeah.
Between
two parties.
So that's super important.
100%. But I am blessed that I have been with the companies that I've been with since I've been bodybuilding, because most of the companies that I've been with for a long time, GASP included. And it's cool because I remember where I started from GASP. And I remember where my contract was when I first started back in 2013.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what when people talk to them, like, you got to work, man.
Yeah.
You got to work for your dollar.
Yeah.
You know, that's why a lot of people like these bodybuilders go, 16 weeks out from a show, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not traveling. I'm not doing appearances. And it's like, well, not everybody wants to see you when you're in the off season and you're a fat fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So, is really traveling for a weekend here and there and having to pack some meals, if that's the worst thing you got to do a couple times a year, is it that big of a fucking deal? You know? I mean, listen, we went to fucking Sweden. It was a nightmare. We had fucking 50 coolers in the car, plugged in, fucking shit packed, and couldn't get microwaves, but we made it work.
Yeah.
You know, we made it work. You find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
You know? I think that's another lesson. You know, find a way to get it done. Sometimes you just got to find a fucking way.
No compromises.
Yeah.
Relentless.
Find a way.
No excuses.
Yeah.
That's good.
You should just list those on a shirt.
Yeah. We don't need to. It's kind of ingrained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah.
Some people fucking out there ain't. You know. They need to get a fucking pounded into their head every day.
You know, when we didn't meet for a while, it feels like we need to catch up.
Yeah.
And you know, it's
we're not used to having a break
not
for a
like
year.
Yeah, exactly. That was crazy.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. And then
Too quiet in here.
and then it's a little bit like going to that Italian crazy dinner.
It's like going from like to a library to like a hurricane.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're like into the hurricane, and then you realize why it's so nice to go and leave.
It's nice when the storm stops.
Yeah, like hitting yourself on the knee, and then you stop doing it.
It's like,
Yeah, you have the like a hammer.
yeah. Oh gosh.
I think no, but I like that. I like the energy. It's crazy energy. But of course, when you're traveling, like we've been traveling in Europe, and there is food everywhere, or there is no food, and there is microwaves, and there is no microwaves, and there is we're gonna eat, and you're on a diet, and then you don't have food with you, but because the food is in your room, and then you need to go up and get the food. Like it's always something. And then, of course, on top of everything, you're gonna have like a back that kind of like.
When I threw my back out in Sweden,
Yeah. What the hell?
I
On top of everything.
I couldn't even fucking stand up. Remember that?
Yeah, and then we were supposed to be on a boat. We went
to the boat.
Yeah, we went out with our
went.
big boat. Yeah, we took the boat over to Martin's and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you could hardly it was almost like we're tipping you into the lake, trying to get you on the
So
boat.
bad. That hurt so bad. That was awful. Branch is like, that's why I don't squat ever on the road.
Yeah. What did he say?
He goes, man, I told you, somebody fucking squat like that. He goes, when I travel, he's like, I learned a long time ago. I don't be doing that shit on the fucking road, bro. Hurt yourself, all that flying and shit. Ain't fucking on the right sleep schedule. Ain't eating the right food. He's like, well, I told you not to do that.
Yeah, you got the experience.
Yeah. He's a seasoned vet.
Yeah, so I think it's important, and it's important to get the energy,
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's what people enjoy the most is the training, because I'm a very high-strung person, and when I train, it just like amplifies time 10. And people are like, is he a lunatic? And I just think I get excited in the gym. I like it.
Yeah.
If you're not excited to be here, fucking leave.
Yeah.
If you're gonna come here and fucking mope around and look like you're in a bad mood because you're here, nobody's fucking forcing you to be here. If you don't want to be here, don't be here.
Yeah.
If you're here, I expect you to be fucking making a little fucking noise.
Yeah. That's exactly my philosophy too. If there is no energy around, then there is no point being.
That's why I have that one shirt that says make some fucking noise. So when you're in the gym, make some fucking noise, like grunt a little bit, let the plates like clang together.
But I mean, in life at large.
Yeah, you got to stir the pot a little bit.
Yeah.
Live and you learn, man. That's what it's about.
And I think it's a good philosophy, even if not everyone has your personality. I think to tease out some energy here and there, and.
I just enjoy anybody that knows me. Listen, there's probably a lot of people out there like, man, Guy's a fucking asshole. That's probably kind of true. But most of my assholeness is, like you guys know, is ball. Like I'm a ball. You guys bust my ball. I like to joke. You can make fun of me all day. I'll laugh at it and I'll poke fun back. Like I'm all about smiling and laughing and having a good time. And if I'm doing that, I'm good. Like you know me. How many times? Like, I don't think anybody's here ever seen me really, really get fucking pissed. Even when I was in Sweden, and with the microwave situation, and the guy was like, well, there's only one microwave here. I was like, one fucking microwave? In this 50 fucking story hotel, you have one microwave? But no, you guys never really see me get mad or upset or angry, because most of the time I'm just fucking joking around busting balls, But I think some people take that as, oh, he's cocky, he's this. It's like, no, if you actually read my text messages from all of my friends and like all the people that they follow, there's probably not one serious text in my phone, because it's all like, instead of like, hey bro, what's going on? It's like, yo, douchebag, you around? Or like, yo, or like, fuck, like the text will start with like, hey asshole. or fuck you. That's just, it's ball busting. I grew up doing that with my friends. But maybe I just haven't grown up.
Yeah.
Literally.
Is it important
What?
to grow up?
No. I stopped growing about 5.5. No, you gotta stay young, man. You have to. Like, there's a time to be serious, but I mean, life is not that fucking serious. Like, you're not here for a long period of time. Like, people think 100 years is a long time. If you live to be 100, that's a fucking lifetime. But at 38 years old, it's good to say that 50% of my life could be almost fucking over. It's like, what is there to? Why am I gonna freak out and stress and be a miserable fuck when? Who knows when my fucking time card's getting checked out? So it's like, I don't like to be serious all the time. I'm serious when I'm here. When I'm here training and when I'm on stage, I'm serious. But outside of the gym, I'm high strung, but I'm a relaxed guy. Meaning, like, there's really never a lot of seriousness that comes out of me.
Yeah. Are you gonna? How do you feel regrets? Like.
I don't have regrets because if I did, that means I would have to.
No. I just mean, like, we're often thinking that we have endless time, or if you don't have endless time, then we have 50% left, or of something, but we really don't know. I mean, like what if something would happen
right now?
How would we go out? Would we go out with with a lot of regrets, or would we go out with feeling a little bit?
Any regrets I really have, and I don't have any regrets in bodybuilding because anything that I did well and accomplished, and anything I didn't do well and failed at, I learned something from, whether it was good or bad. So whether it was something that I technically you could say regret, or something that
I just mean
no. What I'm saying is, even if I regretted it, or at the time I was in my head, I was like I regretted it. From that regret became a lesson. So without that, whatever happened, I wouldn't have learned a lesson. So for me, I try to not live with regrets. If I have any regrets right now, my biggest regrets in life are more relationship built, because one of the things that I always wanted was a family and kids, and one of the things that I don't have is a family and kids. And I'm not one to blame bodybuilding, because bodybuilding didn't make my decisions or my choices for me. But one thing bodybuilding did do was close me off from a lot of emotions, meaning I'm okay by myself. I'm okay alone. Like I don't have to talk to, if I'm dating somebody, I don't have to talk to them every day. I can kind of block people out and do my thing and still in my head be in a relationship but be disconnected from them because I have to do what I have to do for me. And I've ruined a lot of good relationships by doing that. And that the older you get, the likelihood of you being alone, the older you get, starts becoming a reality, and not having kids. So my only real regret if something happened to me right now would be that I never got remarried and had kids. My regrets would have nothing to do with bodybuilding. I don't have one fucking regret in bodybuilding. Not one. Because honestly, if you ask Aceto, he'll say I have some of the worst genetics in bodybuilding. And it's the truth. My genetics are horrible. Every guy on that stage has better genetics, far superior genetics than Guy Cisternino. That is a fact. And I can look at everybody in the face and I will say that is an absolute fact till, I'm blue in the face. But what's true is true. The only reason why I got to where I got to was because of hard fucking work. So I have zero regrets with anything I've done, because the fact that I've won 7 shows, been to the Olympia going on 8 times, I've won the New York Pro. I've had phenomenal sponsors, some of the biggest sponsors like Atomics, GASP. I mean, I can't really fucking say that I have regrets in this industry at all. From the friends that I made, to the sponsors that I've had, to the life that I live, I have none.